there. It be too late to alter course, mateys.
Hey everybody, today we'll be installing the new Ecto sliders by Rock Pirates RC on the Element Ecto. This is a brand new truck. I wanted to start with a basically right out of the box truck, even so it has some of the wrapping and stuff on it. Here's the packaging material. I wanted to start with a brand new truck so you guys can see this from start to finish and see how easy these things are to install. So these are the new Rock Pirates RC Ecto sliders. And they come packaged just like this. You get stickers are included. The brackets for the trailing arms are included, and both the left and right sliders. So let's go ahead and get started on this. We'll put the body aside for now. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get some electronics out of the way. I already pried that one just so you guys wouldn't have to wait for me to get that thing off of there. When you're taking the receiver off the truck, again, be careful. Don't pry on it too hard. You don't want to distort the plastic or damage the receiver or the case of it. And we got to get the old tape off. Sometimes this can be difficult. I found the best way to do this is just to roll it with your thumb across the slider until it all comes off. Actually, this one's coming off pretty easy. So we're going to throw that away. I'm going to show you guys how easy this is to replace these. We're going to go ahead and pull the screw off the retraining arm. Put that aside for now. Don't lose it. I'm going to go ahead and pull all the screws off the bottom of the stock slider. If you guys can see this, I'm having trouble seeing it myself because I'm trying to stay out of the camera. So on this side, there's going to be 6 screws that you got to take loose. On that one there, we're going to have to back that one up because it holds the upper 3-link on the suspension. So that's the second one back from the front. So sort of make a mental note of that so you can put that one back in the same spot. And then save that nylock right there. And we've got one more in the front to take loose. Okay, so the front one is the shortest one. Let's see, what do I got going on back here? I thought we had all these all the way loose, maybe not. Okay, yeah, that one was holding us up. Okay. So to save all the hardware, we're gonna reuse it all. Some of these screws are giving me fits, as you can see. There we go. Got another short one there. And a short one here. Those are the ones, the short screws are the ones that go into your transmission mount in the center of the truck. Let's try and get that guy out of there. There it goes. Okay, so there's the stock slider. And now we're not going to be using these, of course, because we're going to be replacing it with the Rock Pirates RC slider. And I'll show you the advantages to that here just real quick before we start putting it on. So on the stock sliders, you know, they're very durable. It's a good slider, but you've got all these ribs right here. They can get caught on rocks when you're out on the trail. And those do get hung up all the time. So the advantage with the Rock Pirates RC slider is that it's completely smooth on the bottom, as you can see. And then on top of that, we've got this nice ramp up in the front. So as you're approaching rocks, it doesn't get hung up. It'll just slide right up this part here and continue on down the trail. And another thing that's sort of neat is this bend right here matches the contour of the frame. So it gives it a really nice, clean finish to the truck. So on the Rock Pirates RC sliders, we're only going to be using these two screws. Those are the ones that go here and here into the transmission, the center skid plate. And so let's go ahead and get that bolted up. And on these here, don't quite snug it up yet, but get it to where it'll at least stay in place a little bit. Again, these are the short screws that go into to secure the rock slider back into place. And then get some of the lines out of the way here. There we go. Let's just put that guy up there. And as you can see, these line up perfectly. Get that one done. And that one's done. So to get the slider mounted up, it's as simple as that. The slider's already on the truck. Okay, now that we got the Rock Pirates slider all mounted up, now we're gonna go ahead and install the rear trailing arm bracket that is supplied by Rock Pirates RC. And note that on this bracket, the flat part goes towards the top, the bend goes towards out away from the truck, and this angled piece is at the bottom. So let's go ahead and get that installed. Got to put the stock plastic component here back behind the frame again. Let's see if I can hold all this together while I'm doing it off the side of the camera. And like it goes there, use the stock hardware, goes right back in. I can get that to stay there. And don't tighten these up yet. I got that one in. I got it almost all the way all the way in, but I didn't tighten it down because we want to get the next screw in first before we tighten that down. And we want to also, before I tighten either one of these, we're going to go ahead and get the rear trailing arm back lined up. So we make sure everything is in place and nothing binds as we put this assembly together. Let me see if I can, trying to see if I can see here. There we go. There we go. So before we tighten the two screws that hold the trailing arm bracket to the frame, let's go ahead and run this one down. That way it centers everything up. Don't drive it home, just make it snug. And then now we can go ahead and tighten these two guys up. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, and that takes care of that. It gets the swing arm all mounted up. Slider is on. Nice and clean. And now it was the second screw under here. If you guys can remember, that's going to be this one here that we're going to go back with. The long screw that holds the upper third link on the truck. It goes back in this hole. Okay, so we got the upper link connected now. Right here. Got the nylock back on there. Slider's all secured. Got one more screw. It's a shorty that goes in here. You actually don't need it, so I'm going to leave that one off of this truck. That was this one. It's not really holding anything at this point. With the steel slider, you don't need to have that front screw in there. It's not going to bend or break or go anywhere. So with that, now we re-secure our receiver. Use the two-sided tape. Put that there. Now when you put the receiver back on, put it away from the edge of the slider. If you put it up against the side of the slider right here, it's going to interfere when you put the body on later. So sort of set it back just a little bit. And I'm going to set this one up right about there. All right, so we got that. We'll re-secure the antenna and stuff later. But that completes that side. You saw how simple that was. It's all mounted up. No binding in the rear. Everything floats real nice. And that's it for this side. We'll go ahead and get started on the other side. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get started on the passenger side. The passenger side is pretty straightforward. We don't have to worry about the upper link on the 3-link for the front axle when we do this side, so that's no concern there. And so it's pretty straightforward. We don't have to worry about the receiver. It's already on that side, and on the Ecto, the electronic speed controller is at the front of the truck right here. So we don't have to worry about fastening it anywhere either. So for those of you who watch the other side, it's pretty straightforward. This side's going to be almost the same. But if you want to stick around and watch the rest of the video, we'll go ahead and look at how the body fits when we get to that point. So might have to do a little bit of trimming on the Lexan. We'll find out. And but one of the very cool things about Going with steel sliders, especially with the Rock Pirates RC design, is the body gets trapped real nicely by the sliders. So when you have rollovers, it helps protect the body, keeps it tucked in, so it doesn't, pop over your sliders when you're out on the trail. Traps it in there pretty nicely. Once in a great while, we'll have one pop over if you have a really violent rollover, but most of the time it'll stay in place if you trim your body right. When you trim the Lexan body, you want to make sure you keep it snug. Don't trim too much, because if it doesn't fit snug into the bottom of the slider, then that's when they pop over the slider and sort of is a nuisance. Now remember, the long screws go at the back, because those are the ones that secure the rear trailing arm bracket. Trying to get the angle on that right. I'm getting away from the camera. So we'll save those there. Okay, again, we're going to go ahead and do away with the stock slider. And just remember, the longest screw goes to the trailing arm later, so that's where it's going to end up later. So keep the longest one. The shorties hold the sliders on. I'm not going to make it tight, just going to make it snug enough to where it holds the slider in place. Again, this is only 2 screws holding the slider on. All right, and then snug that guy down on the slider. That guy as well. The front one's not needed, but if you guys want to, we can throw that in there. Okay, so that guy's in. Like I said, that one's not really needed. Now remember, your longest screw, we're going to save that one to last. The next 2 are longer than the ones that hold the slider on. And they go on. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. I'm trying to get my hands out of the way and try to hold these parts in place at the same time. This. Where is it? There it is. Like I mentioned before, don't snug these down yet. Just get them enough to hold everything in place. This one as well. I'm gonna get my hands out of the way here. Like I said, don't drive these home yet. I'll leave that guy a little bit loose. That allows us to go ahead and get this guy in for the trailing arm. This is the long screw again. Just trying to get this to line up. There we go. I think that'll help a little bit. Okay, so I got that guy started. Like I said, we're just going to snug that guy down. Not going to run it home because it is plastic underneath and we don't want to smash the any of the components in there. Then we're going to go ahead and snug these guys up. Got him gone, snugged up. Got him snugged up. So there you go, the whole assembly's in. That completes the installation for the passenger side. And we want to make sure that our suspension and everything that nothing's binding, so you want to make sure everything's going to float real nice. Perfect, no issues there whatsoever. So there, now you can see what the sliders look like installed. Super clean. Driver's side. Like I showed you before, the sliders match the contour of the frame. Super simple to install. This is a bone stock trucks, and now it's got, in just a few minutes, we got a set of nice, very functional sliders on it. And now, let's go and spin this around. Let's see how the body fits. Might need some trimming to clear everything. Now, like I mentioned before, when we put the receiver back, we set it back from the edge here, because when we slide the body in, it's going to go behind the slider to protect the body so the Lexan doesn't get tore up. So as you can see, we got some trimming to do, because now this body is sitting on top of the slider. It's trapped inside the slider right here. And to get this thing to settle down, we're going to have to trim with some Lexan scissors, a little bit off of both sides here to get this to tuck down in, to stay trapped behind the slider, but also to let the body pins match up to the holes here. Right now the body's sitting too high, it needs to be trimmed up. So let me go ahead and grab my Lexan scissors and we can get started on that. Now remember, when you're trimming bodies, always take off less than what you think. You could always take more off, but you can't put it back. So that's my hot tip for the day. So let's go ahead and start right about here. And let's see if we're getting close. So as you can see right here, this body post is just starting to, if you guys can see that, it's just starting to show through. And that's what you want. You don't want the body pin to poke all the way through right out of the gate. And in the back, we're already settled in. So when you put your body pins on, it's going to push the body down into the slider, and you want just the, whoop, that guy's hung up there. You want just enough tension to where it's going to keep that body tightened into the bottom of the slider right here. So that's about perfect. I think we'll take about the same off the other side. I'm going to go ahead, I don't know if you guys can see this, I'm going to go ahead and round this edge a little bit just to give it a little cleaner look. Yeah, that's going to be better there. And we're just going to go ahead and take about the same off the other side. Now, most of the time I can cut a pretty straight line because I've been doing this for a while. Sometimes I still have difficulty. But if you're not used to doing this, just pick a piece of masking tape and run it across here and use the edge of the masking tape for your cutting line. That way you can keep your cuts nice and straight. Just another little tip there. Okay. And that guy should fit in there. That's gonna be really close now. Yep. Whoops, not paying attention. We might have to remove these here on the bottom. They're going to be sort of tucked in behind the slider mostly anyway. So, but let's go ahead, pop the clips back on. Sorry if my arms are in the way, guys. There it is. Hope you guys can see that. Might have to move the camera back up a little bit. Okay. So as you can see now, the body fits right into the slider. Fits nice and snug because the body's actually being pushed down a little bit by the clips once the clips were put on. And same right there in the back. And that's gonna help you not only maneuver through the rocks and on your approach and also on your exit of your, getting off and on the rocks, but it's gonna help protect your body too, because now this edge is now protected by the rock slider. And then on the Rock Pirates RC sliders, we intentionally left this part here, or cut this contour here in our slider to match the contour of the back of the body right here. So now when you're on rocks, you're going to carry across the slider here, and it's going to stay off your body until you're going to hit the trailing arms here, and then your tire is going to roll over. So help your body to last a lot longer. And then with that protection on your door, when you're on the rocks and you're pivoting around rocks as you're coming across here on the door, it's going to help protect the side of the truck as well. So that's about it, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, this whole video began, or these sliders actually, funny thing is, we were in a previous video, we were doing an upgrade to a Ecto. And as we were putting our Power Wagon sliders on, and as we were doing it, I was cutting things and making things work. And as that project went on, I started to realize, you know what? Rock Pirates RC needs to make a slider just for this truck. So that's what these are. These are the new Ecto sliders. Hope you guys like them, specific to this truck. And we'll be continuing with the other video. There will be a part 2, and we'll be continuing the build on the Element Ecto from the first video. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed it.